Rome Total War, it's an epic strategy game, so there's two core parts to it. One is massive scale cinematic battles, so thousands upon thousands of troops on 3D battlefields that stretch to the horizon, set during the growth of the Roman Empire and the civil wars. And then the other part of the game is empire building, so you do all of your resource management and diplomacy and conquest on a full 3D map of the ancient world, covering all of Europe from Britain to North Africa. What we've done with the historical battles is the whole AI system, so the behaviour of the units, making sure that when one of our generals in the game, if he's Hannibal, he's using the sort of tactics and strategies that real generals of the era actually used. The other thing is the strengths and weaknesses of the different units in the different nations, so you want to capture the essence of why the Roman legions were so good at what they did. So they're really tightly disciplined, they're shoulder to shoulder, they've got their shields to the front, they're throwing their pylons before they join battle. I guess one of the questions that gets asked a lot is, do you go with historical realism or do you go with fun and good gameplay? And I think what we found with Rome is that going for the historical realism does actually give us the good gameplay, because there were valid, real reasons why certain tactics worked and different mixes of troops worked, and all of that unit balancing, when you draw the real historical reasons for that, it actually makes fantastic gameplay. There's 21 factions in total. Everything from the Scythians to the Greeks to the Egyptians to the Carthaginians to the barbarians in the form of Gaul, so all of Rome's great rivals. As well as that, there's also multiple Roman factions. So you play not all of Rome, but you play one of Rome's great families. So Julius Caesar's family, or the Brutii, the guys who ended up assassinating Julius Caesar. So as well as competing to expand the borders of Rome and to forge an empire, you're also competing against the other Roman families for a place in the Senate, so for prestige. And your goal is not only to conquer the world, but also to have your family declared the ultimate rulers of Rome and become emperor as well. But then as well as that, as well as reproducing the history and the conquest of Rome, people also want to rewrite history. So what if Hannibal had have conquered Rome, or what if the barbarians had have swept down from the north and destroyed the empire before it was founded? So as you defeat other factions as the Romans, you unlock them and they become playable. We've gone to a lot of effort to make Rome significantly more accessible than our previous games, and we've done that in a lot of different ways. I mean, firstly, we've put an advisor in the game, so there's constantly, the game is analysing what's happening, and it'll pop up and it'll tell you what you maybe should or could be doing and how to do it, and it'll actually show you how to do it as well. So our goal is that no one ever needs to look at the manual at all. Then in addition to that, we've put in an entire new prologue campaign. So our previous games, we maybe felt like we just dropped people in the middle of it, you know, in at the deep end, whereas now you can start off, before you have to go out and conquer the world, you can just unite Italy. So it's a smaller, more contained campaign. What we found is different people like to play the game different ways. Some people, it's all about the battles. They just want to fight battles, and the campaign map is just an excuse and a context to set up these really cool battles. So for them, you can automate absolutely everything. You don't have to worry about building or training or diplomacy or setting tax rates or anything. The AI just totally looks after running the empire. All you have to do is charge your armies around and fight. But at the other end of the spectrum, there's people who really like to get into the detailed management of their empire, and we let them do that as well. Some of the more advanced features for the full campaign, you can now negotiate quite detailed treaties, everything from allowing military access for your allies through your territory, to negotiating trade treaties, to getting other factions to pay tribute to you, all sorts of things. Another thing we had from medieval, but I think pretty much most turn-based strategy games, is the early game was fantastic, you know, while you're building up and conquering, but you'd hit that point sort of halfway through where you know you've won, but you've still got all that mop to do through to the end of the game. What I've tried to do with Rome is make sure that there's a really pragmatic end game to it as well. So when you get that tipping point, okay, expand it out in a lot of the map, but because you've got this dynamic with the Roman faction, actually turn on you at that point. That's what kicks off civil wars. So you have really climax and huge battles at the end of the game, your quest to take Rome, brings so much depth to it. At the moment, we're past it. You can play the game from start to finish, all the features of just getting on fast and on track still for